It is a selection of an appropriate order. So this sequencing problem helps to reduce the total time to complete the jobs. So what is this processing order? Is the order in which various machines are required for. We have to find the least processing time among machine A and machine B. So out of this, hello everyone, welcome back to my new session on Operation Research. So this is your last topic in third unit, that is sequencing problem, job sequencing. Today I will discuss sequencing problem on the third unit of Operation Research. So what is this sequencing problem? It is a selection of an appropriate order. It is a selection of an appropriate order in which a number of jobs or operations. Number of jobs are called as operations. So it's an appropriate order in which a number of operations can be assigned to a finite number of service. In sequencing problem, we can optimize the outputs in terms of time, cost or profit. So in sequencing problem, we can optimize the solution in terms of cost, time or profit. So this sequencing problem is very helpful for manufacturing industry. In sequencing problem, it helps to assign the jobs and it can be assigned to a finite number of service. This sequencing problem is a selection of an appropriate order. Got it? In sequencing problem, we can assign the jobs and we can find the elapsed time, wasting time and the processing time of each job we can find in sequential problem. In sequencing problem, we can assign the jobs and we can find the processing of each job and we can find the idle time and elapsed time of each job. Clear? So this is about your sequencing problem, and this sequencing problem is a problem solving technique and used to find the sequence or ordering of the project. So this sequencing problem is a problem solving technique and we can find the sequence or order of the particular project. So we can find the order of the project. So example, you have 5 jobs here. So number of jobs are 5. So we can find the example, if you have 2 machines, machine A and machine B. So these are the jobs. We have 5 number of jobs. Here we can find the order of the project and we can find the total processing time of each job. We can find the total processing time of each job. So this is a technique we are using in sequencing problem. And what are the objective of this sequencing problem? So it helps to select the proper sequencing. So sequencing means what? It is a selection or order. So order of the jobs we are finding in sequencing problem. If you are finding the proper sequencing, it will help to reduce the total time to complete the job. So how much time it requires for completing the job. So this sequencing problem helps to reduce the total time to complete the jobs. Clear? And which also reduces the idle time. So next I will explain what is idle time. So it reduces the idle time. Idle time means it's a waste time. So wasting of time for each job, it will find the wastage of time. That means idle time and between the process of completing the jobs. So it helps to reduce the waste time between the process of completing the jobs. So this is the main objective of this sequencing problem. So in sequencing problem, we are finding the proper sequencing of each jobs and we can find the total processing time and we can also find the ideal time, that is waste time, and also find the elapsed time in job sequencing problem. And we have some terminologies in job sequencing. So which are the terminologies? So number of machines, example, if you have machine A and machine B. You have 2 machines, number of machines. It means the service facilities through which a job must pass before it is completed. So in which machines the job is completed first. So example, how much time required for completing the machine A jobs and how much time required for completing the job for machine B. We are finding the number of machines and processing order. So we are also finding the processing order. So how much time required for completing the job? Each and every job time we are finding in sequencing, that is called as processing order. So what is this processing order? Is the order in which various machines are required for completing the job. So how much time required for completing the job, that is called as processing order. And processing time, it means the time required by each job on each machine. So how much time required for each job? Example, if you have 5 jobs called 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So in machine A and machine B, how much time required for completing the first job in machine A and how much time required for completing the third job in machine B. So each and every processing order we can find in job sequencing. And idle time. So idle time on machine. Idle time on a machine. So that means time for which the machine remains idle during the total elapsed time. So while doing the problems, I will explain it with an example for idle time and elapsed time. So idle time means the time for which the machine remains idle. Machine remains idle means, so it is not working. So that is called as wasting time of each job. That is called as idle time. Idle time means waste time. And what is this total elapsed time? So after finding the sequencing, after finding the order of each job, we are finding the time in, time out for each job. That is time between starting from the first job and completing the last job. Example, you are starting from first job and how much time required for completing the last job. From first job to last job, how much time required for completing the jobs. That is called as elapsed time. So we have idle time and we have finding elapsed time also. These are the basic terminologies we have to study in job sequencing. So first one, number of machines. So how many number of machines are there, that we have to find, and processing order. So processing order we have to find, and also we can find the processing time. So how much time required for completing the each jobs, and idle time, and we can find the elapsed time in job sequencing. And next is Johnson's rule. So this job sequencing problem can be solved by Johnson's rule. It is very important. So job sequencing problem is solved by Johnson's rule. What is this Johnson's rule? So already I have discussed in sequencing problem definition, right? In sequencing problem, we are finding the total processing time, and we can also find the elapsed time and idle time, right? So what is this Johnson's rule? So for finding the job sequence, we are applying this Johnson's rules. So Johnson's rules means it's a technique for minimizing completion time. It's a technique for minimizing completion time. So we are minimizing the completion of each job timing. And time for a group of jobs to be processed on 2 machines or at 2 work centers. So we are using this Johnson's rules for n jobs, 2 machines. So in your syllabus, you have only n jobs, 2 machines problems. You don't have 3 machines and 4 machines. You have only 2 machines problem. So this Johnson's rule, if you are applying this Johnson's rule, so easily we can minimizing completion time for a group of jobs. If you are getting number of jobs, example, if you are getting n jobs, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, up to n jobs, that is group of jobs to be processed on 2 machines. So we are using only 2 machines called machine A and machine B. So number of jobs 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 up to n number of jobs. We are applying this Johnson's rule to n jobs and 2 machines. You have only 2 machines problem. Clear? So this is called as Johnson's rules. So it helps to minimizes total idle time also. So it's minimizing the completion time and it helps to minimizing total idle time. And also this Johnson's rules satisfying some conditions. Clear? So this is the basic concepts of Johnson's rule. And in sequencing jobs, we have different types, that is one machines, many jobs. One machine, example machine A, and number of jobs are many, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, etc. So we have only one machine. So we have one machines, many jobs, and two machines, many jobs. Example, two machines, machine A and machine B, and many jobs. And three machine, many jobs. Machine C, you have machine A, machine B, machine 3. So for this also we can find the total processing time. So this Johnson's rules helps to reducing the total processing time. And we have four machines and many job also. So we have different types of sequencing job, but in your syllabus you have only many jobs with two machines. You have only two machines problem. Clear? How to solve this sequencing problem? So now I am explaining the algorithm of sequencing problem. Process n jobs through two machines. This is regarding n jobs through two machines. First step in sequencing problem, list the jobs along with their processing times in a table. In exam, they will give one table for job sequencing, that is list of jobs. Example, jobs J1, J2, J3, J4 up to Jn. J1, J2, job 1, job 2, job 3, job 4 and job 5. Sometimes you will get job 6 or job 9, etc. So, jobs are n number of jobs you will get, and processing time on machine M1. Processing time on machine M1. Example, machine 1. So, processing time will be T11, that is time 11, time 12, time 13, T11, T12, T13, T14 and T15. Clear? And up to T1n. Up to T1n. And for machine M2, T21, time 21, time 22, time 23, time 24 and time 25. So this is your given table. It can be a horizontal form or it can be a vertical form. Clear? So this is your given table. By using this table, we can simplify, we can find the total elapsed time by using Johnson's rule. So this is your given table. They will give the number of jobs and machine 1 and machine 2, or machine A or machine 2, or machine A or machine B. So this is your given table. So after this, second step is examine the rows for processing times on machine M1 and machine M2. Example, you have jobs and machine M1 and machine M2. In jobs, you have 4 jobs, 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'll write the processing time of machine M1 and machine M2. 3, 2, 1, 5, 6, 8, 9 and 10. So this is the processing time of machine M1 and the processing time of machine M2. Clear? So next step is find the smallest processing time in each row. Here, in each row, you have to find the smallest processing time. So among these two, machine M1 and machine M2, which is the least value among these numbers? So least value is 1, right? So here you have to write the processing order. I have 4 number of jobs, 1, 2, 3, 4. I have not written the order. After finding the minimum value, I will write the job sequencing order. This is for M1, this is for M2. For machine M1, I will start from left to right. And for machine M2, I will start from right to left. Listen carefully. For machine M1, I will write the sequencing order from this side. I will start from this side. For machine M2, I will start the processing order from this side. Clear? So here, the least value is 1. It comes under machine M1 and third job. right? So I will write the job name, it is 3. Job number is 3. So the least value comes under job 3, machine M1. So machine M1 means you have to start from this side. Clear? So now I will cancel this. I will not write it again. And next is, the next least value is, it is 2. So 2 comes under job 2 and machine M1. So machine M1 means I will write this side. So job 2, order is 2. Job name is 2. Comes under machine M1. So I have written this side. So again I will strike out this. And the next least value is, again it's machine M1, job 1. Job 1 and machine M1. So I'll write job 1. Clear? Job 1, that is 3, it comes under machine M1. And the remaining job is 4. Sometimes you will get the least value in machine M2 also. If you get the least value in machine M2, so you can start from this side. So next I will explain with an example. And the next step is, if there is a tie in selecting the minimum of all the processing times, so there are 3 situations. So if there is a tie between the elements, that means if there is a tie, example here I have 3. If it is 3 means in job 4, machine 2 also 3. So how will you select the jobs? So how will you write the sequencing order? So for that you have 3 situations. So minimum among all processing times is same for machines. That is minimum T1J, T2J is equal to T1K and T2R. Then process the kth job first and the rth job last. So if your processing jobs are K and R, example, the processing orders are K and R. So here you can write the processing order of K and processing order of R. That I will explain with an example. And if the tie for minimum occurs among processing times on machine M1 only, then select arbitrarily the job to process first. So you have to select the arbitrary jobs sequencing. Example, if you have 4 jobs, so if you get the tie between 2 values, that means 2 minimum values means, so you have to write in order. Clear? And if the tie for minimum occurs among processing times T2J, example T1J and T2J on machine M2 and machine M1, then select arbitrarily the job of process last. So which one is processing first and which one is processing second, that you have to select while doing the problems. So now you have to use some Johnson's rules for finding the optimum solution in job sequencing problem. So which are the steps we have to use? So first step, list the jobs and their times at each work center. List the jobs and their times. So we have to list the number of jobs, example 1, 2, 3, 4, and their times at each work center. So we have to find the time for each job and select the job with the shortest activity time that already I have discussed. So we have to select the least value among 2 machines and number of jobs. If that activity time is for the first work center, then schedule the job first. If the activity comes from the first center, you just schedule the job. Example, job 2 is processing time is very minimum, means you can schedule the job name. And eliminate the shortest job from the further consideration. So we have to eliminate the shortest job. And repeat steps 2 and 3 working towards the center of the job schedule until all jobs have been scheduled. So we have to schedule the number of jobs. For that we can easily find the processing jobs in each machine. So now I will explain with an example. Please listen carefully. So first problem, suppose we have 5 jobs. We have 5 number of jobs, each of which has to be processed on two machines, that is machine A and machine B, in the order AB. Processing times are given in the following table. So you will get one table. It can be a horizontal type or it can be a vertical type. In exam, they will give one table. So here you have to find the processing time and total elapsed time, run time and total idle time. So this is about your sequencing job question. So here you have one table. By using this table, easily we can find the total elapsed time, that is run time and total idle time. Clear? So how to solve this? By applying Johnson's rule. So here you have one table. Processing times represent in hours. You have number of jobs 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 number of jobs are there. And you have two machines, machine A and machine B. And here you have processing time for each machine. We have processing time for each machine, machine A and machine B. So that is 5, 1, 9, 3, 10, 2, 6, 7, 8, 4. This is called as processing time, that represented in hours. So this is your given table. This is your given table. So now the first step in job sequencing. So the given table have written here. You have two machines called machine A and machine B. So first I will find the sequencing order. For finding the sequencing order, we can get the best optimal solution. So first step is to find the optimal sequence of n jobs for two machines, right? So here I am finding the sequencing order. So for finding the sequencing order, so easily we can get the best optimal solution. So this is sequencing. So sequencing means ordering. I am finding the order of each jobs. Clear? So now I will find the order of each job by using this processing times. So first step is we have to find the least processing time among machine A and machine B. So out of this, so which is the least value here? The least value is 1, right? So you have to find the processing time. So among this processing time, least value is 1. So it comes under job 2 and machine A. So machine A means I will write all the machines order. So machine A, I will start from this side. For machine B, I will start from this side. Clear? So machine A. So here the least value is 1. It comes under job 2. So I will mention the job 2. Clear? 1 comes under job 2 and machine A. So I can cancel this. And second least value is, it is 2. It comes under machine B and job 1. So machine B means I can start from this side, right? So I will write job 1. So 2 comes under job 1 and machine B. And I will cancel this. And next least number is 3, right? So 3 comes under job 4 and machine A. Machine A means I can write from this side. So job 4, I will write job 4. And I will cancel this. The next least value is this 4, right? So 4 is the least value. It comes under job 5 and machine B. Machine B means I will write this side job 5. And I will cancel this. The last job is job 3. So I will write here. Cancel this job 3 also. So now the sequencing is 2, 4, 3, 5, 1. The job sequencing is 2, 4, 3, 5, 1. You have to write it in a table. Again, you have to draw one table. So heading is jobs, machine A and machine B. And you have to find time in for machine A, time out for machine A. Time in for machine B, time out for machine B. So first you have to write this order in this table. So in this table, first I will write the sequencing. Job sequencing is 2, 4, 3, 5 and 1. Here you have to find the time in, time out for machine A and time in, time out for machine B. Listen carefully. I have written all the sequencing, job sequencing. I have written 2, 4, 3, 5, 1 is your final job sequencing order. So now I will find the processing time of machine A and machine B. Clear? Again, I am using this processing time only. What is this time in and time out? When it starts the processing. So, all the processing starts from initial value, right? Time in for machine A is always 0. It starts its working from initial value called 0. Clear? And time out for job 2. So, time out for job 2. You just observe this job 2. So, first I am writing for machine A. Next I will write for machine B. You just observe the machine A processing time only. So, first I will write machine A processing time. Then I will write machine B. So, processing time started from initial value 0. And for job 2, the processing time is 1. So, 0 plus 1 is 1. Please understand the concept. Here I am writing machine A processing order, machine B processing order. So, time in and time out is very important for finding the total elapsed time and total idle time. Job 2, time in is 0 and time out is 1. Clear? And again, so next job is 4. So, second job is 4. Here for job 2, the processing time starts from 0 and ending time is 1. So, again, there is no wastage of time. So, again, it will start its work from 1 only. From 1. So, 0 to 1. 0 is time in. Time out is 1. It starts its processing from 1. And again, job 4, machine A processing time is 3. So, 3 plus 1 is equal to 4. So, job 4 processing time for machine A is 3. So, again, it works from 1. So, 1 plus 3 is 4. 1 plus 3 is 4. And again, it will not waste its time. Again, the job 3 started from 4. So, 4 plus job 3. Job 3 processing time is 9. 9 plus 4 is 13. Clear? And again, it will start its working from 13. And job 5 processing time on machine A is 10. So, 10 plus 13 is 23. It is very simple, easiest problem. So, easily you can score. And the last job is job 1. So, again it will start its working from 23. And 23 plus job 1 processing time on machine A is 5. So, 23 plus 5 is equal to 28. So, this is for machine A. Clear? And for machine B. So, here the task is completed for machine A. Task is completed for machine A. This is completion task for machine A. Clear? And now I will find out for machine B also. Here, listen carefully. For machine A, processing time starts from 0 and ends with 1. Right? So, again it will not waste its time. So, processing time of machine B again starts from 1 only. Machine A timeout is 1. Again it will not waste its time. Again it will start from 1. And the processing time of job 2 machine B is 6. So, 6 plus 1 is 7. It is very simple. Machine A timeout is 1. Again this machine B will not waste its time. So, again its timing starts from 1 only. 1 plus 6. So, job 2 machine B processing time is 6. So, 6 plus 1 is 7. So, now timeout of job 2 is 1 to 7. Clear? And now you just observe this timeout of machine B and the timeout of machine A. Which is the highest value here? Which is the highest value? Highest value is 7. I'll write here. So, again it starts its working from 7. So, our highest value in 7 and 4 is 7. So, now the job 4 processing time on machine B is 8. So, 8 plus 7 is 15. And again 15 and 13, highest value is 15. It will start its working from 15. And job 3, processing time on machine B is 7. So 7 plus 15 is 22. Now listen carefully. 22 and 23. So with among this, highest value is 23. So 23 minus 22 is 1. So 1 hour is wasting from coming to the machine A to machine B. 1 hour is wasting. And now job 5 processing time on machine B is 4. So 23 plus 4 is 27. Clear? And the last one, among this 27 and 28, highest is 28. So again 1 hour waste of time. 28 minus 27, 1 hour waste time. So now last job 1, processing time on machine B is 2. So 28 plus 2 is 30. So 30 is a completion task of machine B and 28 is a completion task of machine A. So 30 is called as total elapsed time. Total elapsed time. Total elapsed time is equal to 30 hours. What is this elapsed time? So first I will explain the definition. Total elapsed time is equal to total time between starting the first job of the optimum sequence on machine A and completing the last job on machine B. Starting the completion of first job and ending of machine B job. Second job completion time. That is called as total elapsed time. And now we have to find the idle time. So this elapsed time is called as run time. Run time or elapsed time. So run time is also called as elapsed time. So now we can find the idle time of machine A and machine B. So now idle time for machine A is equal to, how to find the idle time? So here you have processing time for each machine A and machine B. You just add all the processing time here. So 5 plus 1, 6, 6 plus 9 is 15, 18 and 28. 28 hours for machine M1. Processing time for machine M1 is 28 hours. And for machine B, processing time is 6 plus 2 is 8, 8 plus 7, 15, 15 plus 8 is 30. 15 plus 8 is 23, 23 plus 4 is 27. 27 hours for machine MB. So now we can find the idle time easily. Idle time for machine A, 28 hours. So first you just consider the total elapsed time. For finding the idle time for machine A, we have to use this elapsed time. You just use this total run time and you can subtract with the processing time. So, to idle time for machine A is equal to elapsed time minus processing time, that is 30 minus 28 is equal to 2 hours. So, ideal time for machine A is equal to 2 hours. So wasting time on machine A is 2 hours. That is ideal time for machine A. And ideal time for machine B, ideal time for machine B is equal to total elapsed time minus processing time is 27. So 3 hours. So ideal time for machine B is 3 hours, machine A is 2 hours. So this is your sequencing problem. It is very easiest concept. Easily you can understand the concept. It is very simple. First you have to write the table properly and just find the sequencing of each job. So according to the requirement, you just see the least value and find the sequencing, job sequencing, and according to that sequencing, you can find the time in and time out for machine A and time in and time out for machine B. So easily you can find the total elapsed time and ideal time for both the machines. So this is about your sequencing problem. So it is very simple, dear students. Easily you can solve this sequencing problem. You have only n jobs, 2 machines problems in sequencing. By applying the Johnson's rule, easily we can simplify sequencing problem with 2 machines. Clear? So today you learned the basic concepts of sequencing and rules and Johnson's rules also, and have explained one example problem. So this is your definition of elapsed time and idle time. So in my next session, I will discuss some other problems on job sequencing. Thank you.